Welcome to Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero with the Belt and Road Research Guide, lesson number 6. And for today's lesson, we're going to look at the a very general SWOC analysis of the three Belt and Road routes. Um, each route has good things, and each route has problems. And in the nature of SWOC, each route has strengths, each route has weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges, which is why they call it SWOC. So let's quickly go over each of the routes with a general SWOC. First one would be the maritime route, which is going to be the first major route that's going to be utilized by China. It's already in use. And the advantages are that China has complete control over the ships that go to and from mainland China in the maritime route. Control is a very important issue for Beijing. It's a very important issue for any country. Every country likes to have as much control as possible. Um, so, the maritime route gives China full control, unlike the northern route, which they do not have a lot of control. But we'll go over that when we do the third route. Um, Control is a positive factor for the maritime route. Also, the infrastructure is very inexpensive. It doesn't cost much to build the ocean. So the infrastructure is basically ports and artificial islands, things like that, which really can be offset by other expenditures, national defense expenditures, or possibly uh, getting getting some commitments from countries who are partnered with China to allow them to use your seaports or areas along the Belt and Road maritime route. So this is another strength of the maritime route that China has several places that they can depend on to store their goods and their ships. A third strength of the maritime route is that it's immediately available to Chinese companies. It's immediately available to for trade purposes. They can take advantage of situations that currently exist, and they don't have to make plans for the future. Making plans for the future is very nice, but when you make plans for the future a year from now or 2 years from now, you run into the certain failure of plan A, which means that the more variables you have, the more chance there is that your plan A will fail. And adding 365 days with hundreds of variables for each day increases your chance of failure exponentially, and it's plan A is not going to work anymore. It's as simple as that. That's why they call it the certain failure of plan A. In any event, um, let's look at some of the weaknesses of the maritime route. One of the weaknesses of the maritime route is that China may not have autonomy when it comes to trading with countries like Germany. Um, they come up the Red Sea with oil from Saudi Arabia. That's very nice, but if they try and unload that oil in northern Italy to bullet trains to Germany, they may run into some problems with Russia because Russia is the main supplier of oil and gas to Germany, and they don't want competition. So that could be a potential problem. It's not a challenge; it's a weakness because they are in a position where they cannot challenge Russian trade with Germany. Another weakness of the maritime route is it takes time. It's time consuming delivery. It takes a long time for the ships to get from mainland China to the Mediterranean through the Suez Canal. It takes weeks of sailing. So this is something that you have to worry about if you're China. Another weakness of the maritime route is it takes a lot of money, insurance and banking, and you have to be able to get these things approved before you can make large shipments. So let's look at some of the opportunities for the maritime route. Well, the opportunities are many. Every country that China comes in contact with is an opportunity. Every port is an opportunity. Every trade arrangement is an opportunity. And one of the advantages of the Chinese trade is that they go into a trade and they say, you're X amount of dollars for you, or X percentage for you, and Y percentage for me, and Y dollars for me. They don't include things like national defense and internal affairs and things like that. They stay out of a country's internal affairs. It's strictly about the money when the Chinese negotiate with you. It has nothing to do with national defense or buying weapon systems or, oh, you have to worry about this, you have to worry about... No, none of that stuff. It's strictly how much you're going to make and how much money we're going to make. And that's attractive to a lot of countries. Another challenge for China would be can they compete with the United States and Japan and India, who are obviously countries that are going to be left out of the Belt and Road? Will they be able to compete if those three countries combine their economic forces and ally together with a different plan for Asia? As of now, China is ahead in that game because the United States, Japan, and India are just not coordinated at this point in time. They could become coordinated. It's a challenge for them too. But at this point in time, most of them are taking a wait and see attitude. And the more time that they wait, the more market share that China will get along the Belt and Road corridors. And so these are some of the Swoc analyses that we wanted to discuss. Um, the, uh, the the second road, the Asian Belt and Road in Central Asia, offers pretty much the same challenges for negotiation, but they have more of infrastructure cost because of their inland. It's not on the ocean. So there's additional infrastructure costs, but the benefit is that they will be faster than shipping. So, you have to weigh the Chinese famously weigh what can be gained versus what could be lost. And one of the gains of overland routes is that it's much faster than shipping lanes. And then you have potential political unrest in Iran. That could be a problem. But if everything goes according to plan and the route ends up in Turkey, it offers an endless stream of trade possibilities with EU, Russia, Egypt, anywhere that Turkey wants to go with those Chinese goods. And finally, the northern route has a strength. It's basically a tie between two countries, Russia and China. That's a good thing. That's a strength. Another strength is that the route is predetermined. It's going to go to from Beijing to Moscow. That's another strength. But a couple of weaknesses are control. China will not have control of the trains after they're in Siberia. Once they're in Siberia, they're in full control of Russia, and then Russia will determine where those goods go. That will not be an attractive factor for Beijing. A second unattractive factor of the northern route is the weather of Siberia in the wintertime, which is not exactly the best weather for highly sensitive bullet trains that may or may not be able to function in 6 feet of snow and 70 degrees below zero. So there are some negative factors there for the northern route. There's opportunities, of course, that you can go to Russia, you can go to Eastern Europe, you can go to Scandinavia, and the trade and possibilities are endless if the infrastructure is in place and those problems are solved without too much difficulty. Um, Finally, the challenges of the northern route are fairly obvious. You have to get over that weather problem. What are you going to do when it's snowing 4 feet and then it's 30 degrees below zero at the same time? It's highly unlikely that bullet trains will be able to operate at 100% efficiency 24/7, 365. That's just not going to happen. So you have to allow for certain losses of time and delivery and service and whatever. But regardless of those losses of time, it will still probably be quicker than the maritime route. So these are all things to consider for the three routes for the Belt and Road. We did our little quick Swoc analysis, but you will be doing much more research on all three of these. So let's look at some other principles next time when we have lesson 7. This is Professor Tefero from Port St. Lucie, wishing you a good day and a healthy time as well. Take care. Bye-bye.